With your latest news, I'm April Cummings. A state opening marks the transition from Legislative Assembly to House of Parliament. We begin with Radio Cayman's Felicia Rankin-Solins as the inaugural activities begin.
We thank you for your blessings on these fair islands.
What was once known as the Legislative Assembly is now officially deemed Cayman Islands Parliament. A small crowd has gathered by the clock tower in Georgetown to witness the momentous occasion. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service and the Cadet Corps formed a rigid line, waiting diligently. The Honorable Premier Alden McLaughlin met Speaker of the House Makiva Bush on the steps, followed shortly after by Governor Martin Roper. They stood together to mark a proud moment for the Cayman Islands. For Radio Cayman News, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Proclamation summoning the first meeting of the Parliament. Proclamation number 4 of 2020 by His Excellency Martin Roper, Officer of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, Governor of the Cayman Islands.
Clerk of the Parliament, Zena Marinchin, reads the proclamation.
Now therefore I, Martin Roper, OBE, Governor of the Cayman Islands, by virtue of the powers conferred upon me by Section 83(1) of the Constitution of the Cayman Islands, hereby proclaim that a session of the Parliament of the Cayman Islands shall begin and be held at the House of Parliament, Georgetown, Grand Cayman, at 2:30 p.m. on the 4th day of December 2020, and shall thereafter continue until such date and time as the Parliament may adjourn hereto. Given under my hand and the public seal of the Cayman Islands at Georgetown in the island of Grand Cayman, this 24th day of November in the year of our Lord 2020, in the 69th year of the reign of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
The Speaker of the House read several congratulatory messages and then had a few words of his own.
Today is a landmark for our islands and a monumental day. As we convene as a Parliament, the legacy of our transformative constitutional framework creates the transition from Legislative Assembly to that of Parliament, a stronger democracy.
The Honorable Makiva Bush reminds listeners of the historic importance of this day.
It has been a long journey from the first meeting of democratically elected representatives of the territory 189 years ago, who on the 31st of December 1831 became the Assembly of Justices and Vestry. They were the forerunners of the Legislative Assembly, which has been the forum for making laws since July 1959, and which comes to an end today.
Having served some 36 years in government, Mr. Bush says this step is an important one for the islands.
Honorable members, to me, becoming a parliament is a maturing process from where we were. It's about the separation of power, one of the highest tenets of democracy. The separation of our legislature from that of the executive arm of our government is involved here at this time.
His Excellency the Governor delivers the throne speech in the newly named Parliament, congratulating these islands on their constitutional reforms and paying tribute to government for its handling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
We owe everyone a debt of gratitude for getting us to the relative normality in which we find ourselves today. I believe Cayman can look to the future with optimism, confident that we can build back the economy better.
Governor Martin Roper took the opportunity to urge for support for the new COVID vaccine.
With the UK's support, we should soon be in a position to offer a vaccine against COVID to the people of Cayman. Despite concerns in some quarters about vaccines, a strong uptake by the public will be needed as our clearest route out of this global health emergency. Our health professionals strongly recommend that we take it to protect everyone in our community, particularly our elderly and most vulnerable. As leaders, we all have a responsibility to do so and to be seen to do so.
The governor also highlighted the importance of the relationship between the United Kingdom and the Cayman Islands and stressed his continued commitment to the islands. The governor passed on messages of congratulations on the constitutional reforms and the creation of the new parliament from His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, the UK Prime Minister, and Lord Tariq Ahmad of Wimbledon, former UK Minister for the Overseas Territories. The Honourable Premier Alden McLaughlin bestowed his thanks to all Caymanians and residents as he spoke for the first time in the Cayman Islands House of Parliament.
The seafarers and shipbuilders who laid the foundation for our prosperity and growth. The entrepreneurs and those who labor with them, who have helped drive forward our economic success. The community organizers and volunteers who have made Cayman such a great place to live. The public servants who keep the wheels of government turning and provide necessary services to the public. The mothers and fathers who have raised children who will grow beyond us to take Cayman forward. Today, I celebrate and honor all of them with pride. I also appreciate and honor those who have come and settled amongst us, who love these islands, and who have worked shoulder to shoulder with us to help build and uplift these three islands and their people.
The Premier reflected on how the day is a culmination of the hard work done by many in the Cayman Islands, a testament, he says, to the bond forged with the UK.
We are gathered here to change the name of a building, but we are doing so much more than that. This building has always stood as a symbol of our national identity and our potential as a free, self-governing people. A people who some 61 years ago decided that we wished to maintain our historical and political relationship with the United Kingdom, but to also provide the ability for that relationship to mature. Today, we gather to witness one more aspect of that maturity. The change of the Legislative Assembly to become the House of Parliament is symbolic of the United Kingdom's recognition of our growing maturity. It also reflects on our achievements as a people and as a nation.
The proceedings inside the House were followed by a short ceremony, renaming the building and handing over symbolic keys to the new members of Parliament. In other local news, the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. John Lee, reports 442 COVID-19 tests carried out. Since our last report on Thursday, one is positive for COVID-19. The individual is an asymptomatic traveler who will remain in isolation until considered recovered. Officials say the number of people in isolation is at 1,317. The Minister of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture and Lands, the Honourable Juliana O'Connor Conley, confirms government schools will resume now after the Christmas break on Monday the 18th of January instead of Monday the 4th. Radio Cayman's Dion Anglin has more.
Minister O'Connor Connolly made the announcement during a Teachers Appreciation event at the Kimpton Seafire Resort. The ministry has extended the Christmas holiday period by 2 weeks to allow staff from government schools to travel to see their loved ones overseas and provide time for the 2-week quarantine on their return. The ministry says approximately 180 teachers, or 22% of the staff cohort in government schools, initially indicated their desire to travel during the Christmas break. The Education Ministry says it has been working with the Department of Sports, the Youth Services Unit and the YMCA through the extended after-school program to ensure that activities are put in place to engage the children and young people during the extended break. Deputy Governor and Head of the Civil Service, the Honourable Franz Manderson, says the Civil Service will support employees who may need to make alternate childcare arrangements. Because students are required to receive 185 teaching days, schools will have to make up the days elsewhere, along with 3 storm days. The time will be taken from the half-term holiday, Easter break, and by extending the school year from June 30th to July 9th. Reporting for Radio Cayman News, I'm Dion Anglin.
That is your latest local news from Radio Cayman's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.